When wicked are lost, you sing. But this week, I couldn't be very happy now that Imad Morania from the Hezbollah was killed. Why is it so? I only felt sadness for the world that there are such things in the world. How does that sit with my feelings with Kabbalah? Well, that too, we have to understand that the world is arranged differently than the way it seems to us. When we kill someone on the outside, it's not going to help. 10 others will rise and just as fierce or even fiercer with their war or with their evil. We, Jews, are running the world. We are the ones who have the freedom of choice and no one else. All the nations and the whole of nature are a result of our behavior. As it says, that no calamity comes to the world but for Israel. Meaning, we are running everything, and to the point that we can correct ourselves, the world will become better. If we fail in our own correction, the world will get worse and will turn its evil against us. So we have the key, always do. You are called man. And so we have to understand that only by taking our development and our correction and the process the process that's happening naturally in the world right now into our hands, we'll be able to improve it and make it better for ourselves and for the rest of the world. It all depends on Israel. We are the ones with a choice. We have a task to rise above the corporal level to the spiritual level by ourselves and teach the rest of the world to do it. And by that, be a light of the nations. And by trying to correct ourselves, we will affect positively the rest of the world. Everything that's happening in our world is happening through forces that come down from the higher world into ours. Our world is only operated by higher forces, and to come to these higher forces and activate them correctly is for us to do. What's the connection between these forces you're talking about? And on the one hand of the border, we have an organization like Hezbollah who say, as you said, for every one we kill, they'll have 10 others. They're talking about thousands. Or Ahmadinejad this week talked about the filthy Zionistic bacteria being eradicated from the world soon. What's the connection between these higher forces, which is also unclear what you're saying, and these very tangible enemies that we have? It says, there is none else besides him. Everything comes from the Creator, on the one hand. On the other hand, it says, in every generation, there are those who rise against us to extinguish us. Where are they from? We have to understand that all these forces that rise against us are rising from that same source from which everything is commanded, the whole world. And in that way, the Creator runs the world to set us straight towards the purpose of creation, and not in any other way. As it says that Pharaoh brought the children of Israel to our Father in heaven. Meaning, we need these bad forces that come and threaten us, so we may begin to hear what we need to do, what is our role in the world, that we have to rise, return, O Israel, unto the Lord your God. It's not what they're saying. What they're saying is something very clear, unequivocal. Leave here. Leave this country. Give it back to us. You took it from us by force. Leave here. Go wherever you want. By the way, in Iran, Jews are living fine. You have all kinds of pictures of them hugging and kissing. This is not anti-Semitism, it's anti-Israelis. Yes, the message that the terrorist organizations are giving us is not return onto the Lord your God and develop, in spirituality, but move away. You have to find the role, and why you can't find your place in the whole world. We have to understand it. And the wisdom of Kabbalah that's opening up today tells us why this hatred is increasing. And in the 20th century, when the world understands, and with all of the education and culture, we're becoming even crueler and more darker, aimed against us, because we're not doing our part. The world crisis is entirely because of us. Everything that's happening in the world, from the lowest level, from the lowest anguish, as it is written in the Zohar, is only because the children of Israel are not doing their part in the world. There's something very patronizing in these words. Some people don't like it. Yes, but it's the truth. So what can you do? What do you mean it's truth? If we shut our eyes and bury our heads in the sand, will that change the world? Will that help me run and not see the problems? But it's still coming closer. That's what Jews thought before the Holocaust. And there were Kabbalists who wanted to yell and to cry and to initiate something, but failed. They were not allowed. What's so special about us? What is it about us that others don't have? We have the method to correct the world. The plan of creation is for the whole of humanity to achieve the degree of godliness. And they shall know me from the least of them unto the greatest of them, as it is written in the prophet Isaiah. People heard these things, and humanity shouldn't stay at this level of corporal existence, but it should rise in its spirit to an eternal and complete level. How? Through a method called the wisdom of Kabbalah. And we received it from Abraham and lived with it and passed it on until today. And now, because the whole world is ready to receive it, and they don't see how to develop further, they see darkness before them. So now is the time when we can publicize the wisdom of Kabbalah and disseminate it, and thus give the whole of humanity the right answer. As Kabbalists are writing, it's not my own words. Give the right answer to humanity about what to do with life. Where can we rise to which illuminated world, to feel eternity, to not be depressed? And because we're not doing our part, we need to be the teachers of the world, the leaders of it, the light of the nations. Instead of that, we want to remain and just shut our eyes, leave us alone. So from that source, there is no one else besides Him. From that Creator, one unique and unified, the forces come to us and shake us and don't let us relax, and gradually aim us towards the goal. And that's how it'll stay, because the plan of creation has to come true. You're talking about some hidden plan, some process that seemingly happens in the background of humanity, which is the inner engine that makes all kinds of external things like Hezbollah happen, like the Iranian atom bomb. And to summarize your answer, you're saying, don't be impressed by what you see on the outside or what the enemies are saying. He's saying, but know that inner plan, do what you have to do, and then it'll change the outer expression. Yes, of course, because we can change these forces that come down to our world from the higher world and are here playing with everything. By not doing our part, we're allowing them to be bad. The more we go with the plan of creation, they'll come down and activate our world in a positive direction. So regrettably, the truth is, I have nothing against the people who are yelling against us. As it is written in the Zohar, we're the ones who are doing it. And it says that the heart of kings and ministers is in the hands of God. They have no free choice. They're doing their job very truthfully. There's something very optimistic about what you're saying, because you're saying it's all in our hands. Because what's frightening, that someone will press a button somewhere, some maniac, and then you and I in Tel Aviv will, yes, if we don't go by the path of correction, but by the way we're going now, then of course even worse forces will come and affect us, even in the form of atom bombs, to still direct us towards the goal. Balaam writes that we are headed for a third world war, but not necessarily. Not necessarily. It depends on us. What I feel now, when I'm talking to you, is that the sense of helplessness, that our fate is in the hands of someone else. The nations may feel helpless, not we. But we have to have the responsibility for for not doing our part. And now that plan is to be used by us, and we can do the best for ourselves and for the world and for the Creator, and just make our lives better for our children. Right now we don't know what's happening with the next generation, with anything. We're in a kind of concealment, kind of fog, mist. And we agreed to go with the flow. But once again, we have to see how history and Kabbalists who attain the whole picture of the world. Let's look at what they're telling us. Baal HaSulam writes about it in the introduction to the book of Zohar. I highly recommend for you to read it, where he gives you in a single page the whole picture.